Hello there guys, welcome to my channel. Okay, in this video I'm going to explain to you about the chemistry paper 2 multiple choice question extended, and this is for October November 2021, and the code of this paper is 22. The time duration here is 45 minutes. Okay, now let us move with the first question. Okay, number 1, an experiment is set up as shown. Okay, so here is a wooden cotton wool soaked in ammonia. Ammonia is this, NH3, and here's another cotton wool soaked in hydrochloric acid. Okay, so please remember this question has been repeated since 2020. Okay, 2020 and 2021 May June. You can go through some of my video on May, June. Okay, so after several minutes, a white ring of ammonium chloride appeared as shown. Okay, the ammonium chloride is this, NH4 and Cl. Okay, so this is the formula. Okay, so first we have to get their RMM. Okay, their RMM values. So nitrogen is 14, nitrogen supposed to be, okay, so here's the nitrogen 14, hydrogen is 1, and chlorine is 35. Okay, so if you add on here, you have 14 plus with 3, so total you'll be getting here about 17, and here you have 1 plus with 35. Is it 35 or 35.5? So the chlorine here is 35.5. Okay, so it's 0.5. So the total of your RMM for here is 36.5, which is a bit heavier. Okay, so they're having a high inertia, and this one is a lighter, so it will diffuse much more faster, and this one it will move a bit slower. So okay, so your answer here will be ammonia gas diffuse faster. Yes, it's correct, because its molecules have a lower molecular mass. So this is the most possible answer, but we have to look at the other options. Diffuse faster. Okay, this is wrong. Okay, when it is heavy, it is slower in the movements. Ammonia diffuse slower. Okay, both of this is wrong. So your best answer here will be A. Okay, now let us look at the number 2. Let me scroll below. Okay, number 2. A student put exactly 25 centimeter cube of a dilute hydrochloric acid into a conical flask. A student added 2.5 of a solid sodium carbonate. The measured change in temperature of the mixture. Okay, which apparatus does the student needs to use? So if you have a carbonate, obviously you will have a carbon dioxide. So let us write down the formula here. Sodium carbonate, hydrochloric acid, and here you have sodium chloride plus carbon dioxide plus with water. Okay, so I don't balance it, so we just want to know the product. So here we will have a gas. So if you have a gas, okay, so there is no measurement for the gas, so we can avoid it. So we can see there is a change in temperature. So obviously we need a thermometer. 1, 2, 3, and there is no timing here. So there is no there's no such thing to measure the time, so there's no need of stopwatch. And then we have a measuring cylinder and also pipette. So here if you see here, this is only 25 centimeter cube, which is quite small for measuring cylinder, so we don't use this. Okay, now you need to, okay, so now we need to measure this 2.5 gram, right? So we need to have a balance. So the best answer here will be balance, piping and thermometer. So your answer is C over here. Okay, number 3. A student separates sugar from pieces of broken glass by dissolving the sugar in water and filtered off the broken glass. So here's the filtrate and here's supposed to be residue. Okay, so what is the filtrate? So the filtrate here will be, the glass is tucked here, alright. So there is no broken glass, there is no broken glass, and should be a sugar solution because it's already dissolved in the water, right? Okay, so here should be the sugar solution. And pure water, okay, so here the best answer here will be sugar solution, and we can obtain the pure water from a boiling on an evaporation process where we will left the sugar behind. Okay, next we move on with the question number 4. Okay, here how many protons, neutrons and electrons are there in one atom of isotope of 27 aluminium? So this is the nuclear number with a big N. This is the proton number, and the proton number here will be equal with the electron, and the neutron number here we have to minus this, so we'll be getting 14. If it is an isotope you have a same proton number, alright, so this is also will be 13. Okay, now let us check the answers, the options that they've given us. So we have here proton number 13 and 13. So 14 is absolutely wrong. It's not for isotopes. Okay, and then here we have a neutron 13, electron 13, which doesn't make sense. Okay, so here we have 14 and also 13. So this is the best answer here, boy, because they're asking for this. Okay, so for number 5, which description of brass is correct? So brass is a combination of the copper plus with zinc. Okay, so it should be an alloy. It is a mixture. Okay, now we move on with the question number 6. Okay, number 6, some property of diamond are shown. So number 1 is it's very hard. Every atom forms 4 bonds. And 3, it does not conduct electricity. So which property are also shown by silicon 4 oxide? Okay, this is also one of the macromolecule, silicon oxide. Okay, so we can see so it appears as a linear structure, so where they have this type of structures. Okay, so the number 2 will be out. It is very hard, so number 1 will be selected, and it also does not conduct electricity. So 1 and 3 is your answer, so your answer here will be C. Okay, now let us look at number 7. Which statement describes the attractive forces between molecules? So here we have a strong molecule covalent bonds and strong ionic bonds. Here we have a weak forces, and here we have a weak forces which hold ions together in a lattice. So you have to clearly understand that if it is shown as attractive force between molecules, it is definitely going to be a covalent. Okay, it is going to be a covalent. So for ionic, it is more into electrostatic force, so it's not ionic. And if it's attractive force, it means it is a strong covalent bond holding the molecules together. Okay, so this is a keyword to understand the questions. So 7 is A. 8 is, which substance is described as a macromolecule? Okay, macromolecule here we will have, okay, ammonia is a simple molecule, iron is an element, and sodium chloride is a salt, is a ionic. Okay, so your best answer here will be B, which is graphite. So remember, macromolecule you have only 3. One is a diamond, and we have a silicon dioxide, and we also will have a graphite. Okay, now we move on with number 9. Okay, the equation for the reaction of a sodium and water is shown as here. Okay, when they mix with water, we will have a hydrogen. Okay, so remember for group 1, the general equation here will be the elements of group 1 mixed with water. You will be having the elements hydroxide solution plus with hydrogen gas. Okay, so what is the volume of hydrogen gas measured in RTP? RTP means we have to, it is a 24 dimetric cube produced when 18.4 gram of sodium reacted with excess water. So let me make it bigger. Okay, now this is 2, this is 2, this is 2, and here is 1. Okay, now let us calculate 18.4 gram of sodium. Sodium is 23. Okay, the RAM. So we divide it with 23, we will be getting here, 0.8 mole. So here you have 0.8 mole, 0.8 mole, 0.8 mole, and since here we will have only 1, so it will be halved, which is 0.4 mole reacting. So 0.4 mole multiply with 24. Okay, multiply with 24, and we will be getting 9.6. So let me zoom out. Okay, so we will be getting here 9.6. So this is your answer. Okay, number 10. Iron can be electroplated with zinc to make it resistant to corrosion. So, okay, this is a electrolysis chapter. So always remember, for electroplating, let me explain to you here. For electroplating, okay, and this is the object. So whatever object you want to do with is, let's say example like a key. Okay. Okay, let's say this one you are going to do with zinc, right? So make sure your rod here is zinc rod, and here is the object. And make sure your solution is also zinc related. Example like a zinc nitrate. Okay, like a zinc nitrate. or you can also use zinc sulfate. So please remember this regarding electroplating. So your answer here will be anode. Anode will be the zinc rod, alright, the zinc rod. The cathode obviously will be the iron, the object. Here is the rods. And the electrolyte, you have to use zinc, so which is zinc nitrate. So this is your answer for number 10. Okay, now we move on with the number 11. Okay, number 11, chlorine reacts with ethane to produce chloroethane and hydrogen chloride. Okay, the reaction is exothermic. Okay, so for now, the reactants will absorb energy. Okay, so I just write it down here. It absorbs energy to break the bonds. So let us calculate the total energy absorbed. So if you look at CH bond, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here we have 6 times with their energy CH, which is about 410. Okay, let me erase back and we will count for the rest. C carbon and carbon, we will have a 350. This is only one. And we have a chlorine and chlorine. Chlorine and chlorine. So here you have about 240. So we total up all this, we will be getting here about 3050. Okay, this is a kilojoule. Huh? Okay, now when they are forming the bonds, right? When they are forming the bonds, the product, they will release the energy. Okay, they'll release the energy to form the bonding. So the same thing happens here. CH times with 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 times with 410. Okay, now we also look at the carbon and carbon. So they have 350. Look at carbon and chlorine. So carbon and chlorine, we have here about 340. And hydrogen and chlorine, we have about 430. So this should be negative. So all total up, you will be getting here about 3170. And this is minus because they release the energy. And so we can assume it is an exo and this is an endo. So when we total up both of these the values here, we will be getting negative. So we'll be getting a total of a negative 120 kilojoule. So which is correct, is exothermic. So now we look at the answers. What's the energy change for the reaction? So this is the energy change of the reaction by. Okay, so I hope you understand. It often come out in our paper 4 as well, this type of questions. Okay, now for chlorine. Chlorine is bubbled into aqueous potassium iodide. So you have a chlorine gas and potassium iodide. So remember, fluorine, chlorine, bromine and also iodide. This is much more reactive. Okay, this is the most reactive. And this is the least reactive. Okay, so here what happens is you have a displacement reaction. So the chlorine is much more reactive than the iodine, right? So it will be displaced. So you have here chlorine, potassium chloride, and here you have an iodine. So your iodine equation here will be, you have this chlorine. So chlorine, and it becomes a negative ion, so it will accept 2 electrons to form 2 chlorine ion. And we look at the next one for iodine. Iodine is already in a iodide form, so they will release the electron. Okay, they will release the electrons, so we can cancel off this part, these 2 electrons and 2 electrons, make it in the form of a full equation. So we will be getting this answer, 2 chloride, and you have the iodine. So which is B as your answer? Yeah, correct, it's B. Alright, so this is your working. Okay, now for question number 13, so let me erase this. Okay, so for question number 13, concentrated aqueous sodium chloride is electrolyzed. Equation represents the reaction of the cathode. So if a concentrated sodium chloride, you will have sodium and hydrogen, chloride and hydroxide. So this one will be under anode, so we don't have to care about this. And here at cathode, they will follow the electrochemical series, so which will give hydrogen will be selected. Okay, hydrogen will be selected, so your answer is definitely going to be C. So just to explain more, for anode, since it is concentrated, it is only will be affecting the anode, not the cathode. Okay, so in concentrated, you have a less water solution, which is about 20% the water, and your here this one will become 80%. So the chances of chlorine to be discharged will be much more higher. Okay, so I hope you understand this. For electrolysis, you can watch my video in my channel that specified on electrolysis, so you can have a look. Okay, now we move on with the question number 14. Okay, so for question number 14 here, which statement about hydrogen are correct? So when the hydrogen is burned, heat energy is being released. You can say that because hydrogen will be used in the fuel cell, right? Fuel cell. And number 2, when the hydrogen is used in a fuel cell, electrical energy is generated. Yes, correct. And when hydrogen is used as a fuel, water is the only product. Yes, it's correct. Because it's hydrogen plus with water, you will produce, hydrogen plus with oxygen, you produce the water and the energy, the heat energy. Okay, so the heat energy will be transferred to the engine. So your answer here will be everything 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now for number 15, solid X is heated strongly. The color of the solid changes from blue to white. So blue to white is heated strongly. So it's blue, you have only one, which is anhydrous copper 2 sulfate. Okay, copper sulfate, something to do with copper 2 plus. So your best answer here will be should be C, because when it is in blue, it represents the presence of water. Alright, so here you will have water, so which shows the solution to become a blue color. So once you heat it up strongly, the water will get evaporated and you will be getting a dry copper 2 sulfate. Okay, so this one you have a dry copper 2 sulfate, so which will eliminate the presence of water and you'll be getting white. Okay, this is for number 15. Now let us look at number 16. Iron 2 chloride solution react with chlorine gas. Okay, the equation shows as here, so let me make it bigger. Okay, just nice. Okay, now which statement about this reaction is correct? Okay, since it is all about oxidation number, let me place it over here. So this is plus 2, alright, the iron. So iron here will be plus 3. So this one will be an oxidation. So I just put there oxidation. And if you look at chlorine, here, okay, so we just focus one by one. So chlorine 2 plus iron are reduced. 2 is not reduced, it's oxidized. So this is wrong. This one should be oxidized. So if it is oxidized, this is the oxidizing agent. So this is the agent. So chlorine acts as reducing agent. Wrong. It is oxidizing agent. Iron 2 each lose an electron. Yes, it's correct. Because iron 2 plus, you will form iron 3 plus by losing an electron. Yes, it's correct. So the chlorine molecules are reduced to, yes, this is reduced because it is absorbing the gaining the electrons. Okay, so your answer here should be 3 and 4, which is D. Okay, now we go to number 17. Okay, which statement about acid and base are correct? So here, an acid react with the metal to give off hydrogen. Yes, that's correct. A base react with an ammonium salt. Let me give you the equation for the number 1. So here we will have acid plus metal. You will have the salt plus with releasing the hydrogen. A base react with an ammonium salt to give off ammonia. Yes, this is correct. And acid react with a carbonated to give off carbon dioxide. Yes, is correct. Alkaline solution are orange in methyl orange. Okay, so this one should be an acidic. It is not alkaline, so 4 is wrong. So your best answer here will be 1, 2 and 3. A is your answer. Okay, now we move on with number 18. Okay, number 18, oxide 1 is a solid that react with a dilute hydrochloric acid. Oxide 2 is a gas that react with a sodium hydroxide solution. So what are the formula of the oxides? For oxide 1, it should be base. So it's a group 1 and group 2 oxide is a base. Okay, they will have an alkaline characteristics which is suitable for calcium oxide and also magnesium oxide. So both of these is acidic, so this is wrong. And oxide 2 is a gas that react with the sodium hydroxide solution. So here your only answer here will be nitrate oxide. So it will form like a brown color. Okay, So your answer here will be boy. Okay, now let us look at number 19. So which reaction is a photochemical reaction? So photochemical reaction here will be under alkane. Okay, alkane under the substitution reaction. Okay, substitution reaction. Example as this: substitution of methane with chlorine. Because the condition for this reaction to occur, you need to have a UV light, which can comes from photochemical reaction. Alright, so your answer here will be D for 19. Okay, now let us look at number 20. Okay, the equation shows the equation shows represent a reaction at equilibrium. Okay, M and N represents the balance number for the reactant and the product respectively. High temperature increase the concentration of Q. High pressure increase the concentration of Q. Which statement about the reaction is correct? Okay, for the rate of reaction, this is the general formula that I used. So for endothermic here, it is absorbing heat. Alright, it's absorbing heat. So your temperature here should be high and the pressure should be lower to increase the yield. So for exothermic, since it is already releasing the heat, doesn't make sense for the temperature to be high. So the temperature should be low and your pressure should be high. This is to increase the yield. But in this case, if you look at it, so both they will be having increasing the concentration of Q. So in this case, you will have the M mole here will be greater than N. So this is the only possibilities over here. So this is your answer. And let us check the front one, and it should be an endothermic. Okay, it should be an endothermic. So your answer here is C. Okay, for number 21, a period of a period table is shown. Okay, this is a group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and this is the elements that we have. And here, okay, the letters are not their chemical symbols. Which statement is correct? Okay, so we have to understand here, 1, 2, 3 is a metal. Okay, it's a metal. And this one is a semi-metal. This is a group 14 or group 4. Okay, this is semi. And the last 4 is a non-metal. And non-metal. And the last group here is a noble gas, which is inert. It's not reacting. So element R does not conduct electricity, which is not correct because it is a metal. They can conduct electricity. Now element R and Y, where is Y? Y is here, react together to form an ionic compound. This one is correct because ionic compound, they need metal and they need a non-metal. Alright, so this is correct. Now let us look at the next one. Element Z exists as a diatomic molecule. Okay, element Z here, this one, it appears as a monoatomic. Okay, monoatomic because they do not react. So they always exist as a monoatomic. The one that exists as a diatomic molecule is this. This is the diatomic molecule or diatom. Okay, dewy atom. So if you look at the group 17 over here, we have fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and also iodine. All of them will exist as a dewy atom. Okay, you have the. Okay, now look at D. Element Z react with the element T. So element Z do not react. They are inert. Okay, so your best answer here will be boy. Okay, now let us look at number 22. Okay, 22. All metal nitrates are soluble in water. Yes, correct. All nitrates is soluble in water. All metal chloride are soluble except for silver and lead. Okay, this one is regarding the salt. All metal carbonates are insoluble except for sodium, potassium. Supposed to be another one here, ammonium. Okay, ammonium carbonate is also soluble. Okay, which aqueous solution produce a precipitate when mixed together? So if you look at here, okay, now silver will be combined with carbonate. So you will have silver carbonate plus with sodium nitrate. Okay, it will produce a precipitate. Which is this? It will form a precipitate. Okay, now the next one, silver and chloride. So we have another precipitate over here plus with sodium nitrate. Yes, this one is not a precipitate, it is soluble. Okay, now let us look at number 3, barium and chloride. Okay, barium and chloride. Okay, barium, it only forms precipitate with sulfur. Okay, so please remember barium sulfate, it will form a precipitate, but it's not here. Potassium nitrate. So we have here potassium nitrate. So this is both are soluble. So number 3 we cannot include this. So your best answer here for this question is 1 and 2. So which is A. Okay, now let me look at number 23. Oops. Okay. So here, which row describes the properties of transition elements? So transition elements here, they have, okay, let us just eliminate the one that is not relevant. They have variable oxidation state, high density, yes. Colored compound, yes. Okay, this is all is okay. So maybe A is the answer. B, high density, high melting point, and 1 oxidation state. No, because transition element, they have variable oxidation state. So both of these is not acceptable. And look at here, so low melting point. So which is wrong, because transition element will have a high melting point. So your best answer here will be A. Alright, so this is for question number 23. Okay, number 24. Let me make it bigger. It looks much more better. Okay, noble gas are in group 18 here. Okay, so the group 18, the last one, which is inert. Okay, which statement explain why noble gas are unreactive? Because they have a it's not about gas, it's not about monoatomic. It is because they have their valence electron as 8. They are stable. So your best answer here will be either A or B. If you look at them, they have a very close meaning. So they all have 8 electrons in their outer shell. They all have full outer shells. So your best answer here will be boy. Okay, now let us look at number 25. Okay, which statement is correct for all metals? So they have a low density, obviously no. Low melting point, obviously no. Okay, they conduct electricity when molten. Yes, all of them will conduct electricity when it is a molten form. They gain electron when they turn iron. So remember, this is wrong. So all metals, alright, all metals, they will release electrons, like they have for this. They will release a certain amount of electrons. All metals will form cation. So please remember this, guys. So your best answer here will be A. Okay, now let us go to question number 26. Okay, now here, carbon dioxide is produced during extraction of aluminium from bauxite. Which statement describes how this carbon dioxide is made? So let me draw for you the structure of the extraction of aluminium. So if you look closely, so I just draw a simple one here, and so okay, so here we will have the electrodes, right? We will have the electrodes, the carbons, and here will be the anode, and at the side here we will have a cathode. Okay, at the side here we will have a cathode, and aluminium oxide will be here. So this is aluminium oxide. So what happens over here? This is molten form. So now at cathode, here you have aluminium ion. So at anode, you will have oxygen ion, oxide ion. So what happened to this oxide ion is, they will release electrons. At the same time, here you will have oxygen. So this will become 4 and here will become 2. So when it is releasing the oxygen, so remember it is in the very high temperature, which is about 900 to 1000 degrees Celsius, okay, with cryolite. Okay, with the cryolite. So there is a very high chances for them to react. So this is carbon. So what happens over here is, the carbon will react with the oxygen to form carbon dioxide. So as the time passes by, so what happened to the rod? The rod here will become thinner and thinner and thinner. So they have to change this rod. Okay, so this is the explanation how the carbon dioxide can form. Okay, now let us look at the question here. So which one do you think is the best answer? So carbon monoxide reduces aluminium oxide. No, this one doesn't make sense. Carbon is burned in the blast furnace to release the heat energy. Not really. Okay, now look at C. Oxygen is oxygen made in the process react with the carbon electrode. Yes, this is the correct one, as how I explained to you just now. This is C. 27. Aluminium objects do not need protection from corrosion. This is because when you put a fresh, pure aluminium plate, okay, they will create their own oxide layer around them. Alright, so they will create, okay, example, this is the aluminium and the green color is the oxides of aluminium. So it will, they will create the oxide layer themselves to protect the aluminium inside. Okay, so this is the main reason why it is not reactive. even though they have a high position in the electrochemical series. So now look at here, iron object must be protected from a corrosion. Which statement explains why aluminium resists the corrosion is because they form their own oxide layer. So which is C is your best answer over here. Okay, so now let us move on with the next question. Okay, number 28, which statement explains why zinc is used to protect iron from rusting? So if you look at the electrochemical series, so the zinc is on top, right? So zinc is more reactive compared to the iron. So if you put here this is the iron, okay, and you put here the zinc. So what happens over here is all the electrons here will flow toward the zinc. So only the zinc will be corrosive. Okay, it will corrode themselves. So we just have to change this, not the entire iron. So it's because of zinc is more reactive than iron, and zinc also acts as a sacrificial metal. So it is also this metal is also being used in ships. Okay, so your best answer here will be 1 and 4, which is boy. Okay, now let us move to the question number 29. Okay, Haber process is to produce ammonia. So this is ammonia. So this one is a dual, it's a reversible process. Okay, it's a reversible process where they will have a very high, it's quite high pressure over here. So your temperature here will be 450 and your pressure here will be 200. So don't get confused with the contact process. So contact process is for the manufacturing of a sulfuric gas. So here they'll have the same temperature, 450 degrees Celsius, and the pressure here will be 1 to 2 atm. So please don't get confused. Okay, now for number 30, which process does not produce greenhouse gas? Okay, greenhouse gas, the example is a methane. Okay, methane and carbon dioxide. So if you look at here, digestion, it produces carbon dioxide. Combustion is also producing carbon dioxide. Digestion, it produces methane as well, right? Carbon dioxide is methane. Acid rain on limestone. Okay, limestone is a calcium carbonate. So when you have acid reacting with carbonate, so what will happen? You will have the salt plus with carbon dioxide and water. Okay, look at the D, zinc, metal, and reacting with acid. So here you will have the salt plus with hydrogen gas. So only this process does not produce the greenhouse gas. Okay, now look at number 31. Which reaction involves sulfur dioxide? Involving sulfur dioxide is correct. So it is produced during extraction of zinc from a zinc blende. Zinc blende is zinc sulfate. Okay, zinc sulfate. But the thing here is, during the extraction of zinc, it only produces sulfur and not sulfur dioxide. Okay, so this one we just keep it on a hold. It reacts with concentrated sulfuric acid to form oleum. Yes, this is correct. okay, during the contact process, you will have sulfur dioxide, supposed to be sulfur trioxide, plus with sulfuric acid to form oleum. So this is oleum. Okay, this is oleum. So this is partially correct. It reacts with sulfur to form sulfur trioxide. Yes, this is the process before this happens. Sulfur dioxide plus with sulfur and also oxygen to form sulfur trioxide. It turns acidified solution of a potassium manganate purple. So all the process here B, C, D, they will produce sulfur dioxide. So they have the relation of a sulfur dioxide, except for A, because extraction of zinc blend, a zinc from a zinc blend, they only will produce sulfur, not the sulfur dioxide. Okay, now number 32, lime calcium oxide is used to treat wastewater from a factory. So which substance is removed by the lime? Okay, let's say in case you have forgotten the lime, function of lime, calcium is a group 2. So group 2 oxide, okay, group 2 oxide, it is alkaline by nature. So what happens is, when you have an alkaline plus with acid, so that's how you can form a neutralization. So here, this is salt. The salt is a neutral. Okay, salt is a neutral. And here is alkaline. So alkaline, it won't react with alkaline. This is also an alkaline. Okay, now sulfuric acid. So this is the best answer here. So alkaline will react with acid to neutralize it. Okay, what is the structure of the ester? Formed from ethanoic acid and propanol. So over here we have an ethanoic acid with the base formula of this, and alcohol formula is this one, OH. So here we have a C3H7OH, and ethanoic is C, carbon is 2, but you have to minus 1 because we already have another carbon over here. So it's CH3COOH. So when they combine, the hydrogen ion from the acid and the OH hydrogen ion from the alcohol will be combined to form water. Okay, they'll form the water, and both of this one and here, it will be combined together. So we have the H3 C double bond O, and it will combine with this C3H7. So the name here we have to take from the alcohol first. So it become a propyl. Okay, it will become propyl, and the next name here will be coming from here. This is ethanoate. So you have the propyl ethanoate. So now we look back at the answer. Propyl ethanoate. So we will have, so this is your best answer, which is a D. D should be the best answer here. You have, C is not, because you have this. Okay, D is your best answer. Okay, now 34. A fuel produces Fuel X produces carbon dioxide and water when it is burned in air. So does flue Y. What could be X and Y? It should be, fuel should be either alkane or alkene. So if you look properly here, hydrogen will produce water, okay, or water only. They do not produce carbon dioxide. So A and C is not the answer. And your best answer here will be D. Because carbon, when they got burned, they only will produce a carbon dioxide and there will be no water. Okay, number 35, the structure of 4 organic molecules are shown. So, how many different homologous series are represented by these molecules? So, this is acid, carboxylic acid. This is supposed to be alkane. This is alcohol. And this is also an alcohol. Okay, so there is 3 groups. So your answer is C here. Okay, now 36. Which statement about ethene is not correct? Ethene is this. So you have a double bond over here. So you have a chemical formula. Let me zoom. So this is wrong. It burns in excess oxygen, producing carbon dioxide and water. This is correct. It reacts with bromine to produce an orange solution. It decolorize. Okay, this is, it will decolorize. It will decolorize. It will decolorize the bromine. So when you have a bromine liquid, it is a brown to orange color. So what if you mix with ethane to this one, it will decolorize. So C is not your answer. D, it react with oxygen to form ethanol. No, they will react with water to form ethanol. So this is also wrong. So the best answer here will be A. Sorry. My bad. Okay. So your answer here will be boy. Okay. So answer here will be boy. Okay, number 37. Ethanol is manufactured by fermentation of sugar and by catalytic hydration of ethene. So, which row states an advantage of each method? So, fermentation is actually much more slower. Hydration is faster, but it's not here. Hydration will produce much more purer alcohol. Okay. And hydration is a continuation process. Like fermentation is a batch process. So your best answer here will be donkey, D. Okay, number 38. Which statement about unsaturated hydrocarbon are correct? Unsaturated hydrocarbon means it is with a double bond. Okay, it is with a double bond. So they contain both single and double bonds. Yes, is correct. They turn bromine from colorless to brown. This is not correct. They'll change the brown to colorless. Okay. They can be manufactured by cracking. Yes, so if the cracking is alkane, which is the bigger molecule, then we will have a smaller alkane and alkene. Okay, so this is the cracking process. So your answer here will be 1 and 3. Boy. So for number 39, Which polymer have the same linkage between monomer units? So your answer here should be C, because polyamide, amide is the group that they have nitrogen and protein having the same linkage. Okay, now let us look at this diagram. Question number 40. The diagram shows the partial structure of terylene. So from which pair of compound it is made? So if you look at here, it can be separated in these two ways. So one is the black box itself and the white box. So it obviously they have a hydrogen like this, and the black box you'll have a hydroxide molecules. So when they are combining, the entire thing from the black box will go disappear, and they'll combine with water, the hydrogen, to form the water. Okay, so your best answer here will be A for question number 40. Okay guys, so that's all from my part. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. So if you have any questions, please comment below. Thank you very much guys. I hope you enjoy it and learn something new in this video.